to exchange ideas because the topic today is mastering commercial negotiations. So I want us to see, let's learn from one another. How best can we negotiate? What are the things that we can do in different instances when we are negotiating? What I will be doing, is to, by the grace of God, is to stir up the consciousness of negotiation in us, because 80% of what we do in life is negotiating, even from marriage. Asking somebody out itself is negotiation. If you want to have a lady by your side, you have to negotiate. Some guys have not been able to negotiate well. That's why they received a no, and a very sharp no for an answer. For friendship, you have to negotiate. Some people, when they're in the midst of a lot of people and they sit down, maybe we have maybe 10, 5, 15 people are seated, they will just be on their phones because the skill of negotiating discussion, they have not mastered it. They are not trained in it, or they have not learned it. Can see 10 people, all the 10 people just face their phone. Nobody is even saying to another person, hello or hi, because somebody is just waiting for somebody to greet him or her. But in negotiation, you don't wait, you take it on. In negotiation, there is no shame. There is no shame like, I don't want to go further so that this person will not see me that my own is too much. In negotiation, your own can be too much without burning bridges. What a negotiation is sensitive about is the consciousness of not spoiling relationships. Because you see some people that they are not aggressive, they want to keep quiet, but once they just open up like this, they can spoil everything that they have kept. They can even say, since I've been keeping quiet and you are not, you just feel that you can take me for granted. And from there, they start fighting, So in negotiation, you have to be deliberate. In negotiation, we are not just only deliberate. A negotiator takes the lead. Like I said, people are in the room and everybody, I see that often. People stay together and you don't see anybody initiating discussion. People just face, especially in this age and time, people just face their phones. They don't want to talk. So those are the things that we'll be discussing this afternoon. Mine is to facilitate it because we have I've seen a lot of people in this house now. Permit me to use that word because we are one big family, and what you will notice is that we have developed one style or the other in our negotiation. Pastor Shell, I saw you now. You are welcome. Pastor Shell.
Thank you very much, sir.
Pastor Shell, you are joining from the city of Maryland, America. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I'm very grateful to have you here. Thanks. Pastor Shell is a pastor in my church. It's one pastor in Global Harvest Church, Maryland, not Maryland, Lagos, so Maryland, USA. Maryland is different from Maryland, Okay, so thank you. Let's go now. And I want the contribution of everyone when it's time to so do or to do so. Life is one big negotiation. That's what I've said here. Negotiation 101. If you recall, as from the last session, when we're talking about every agreement is not a contract. Every agreement is not a contract, but every contract must contain an agreement. And we started talking about offer, acceptance, intention to create legal relationship. We started talking about all other things, capacity to enter into relationship. We have to advise business owners that when you have reached a compromise, then make sure that you send a letter, make sure that at least there must be something written so that you can reduce your compromise. You can say that, okay, this is what we have done and this is what we have not agreed upon. So this is a special edition to complement that contractual class. And that's why we have tagged this one negotiation. Please, if you are not talking, can you just mute it so that I will be the only person? Oh. Okay, thank you. So in business, as in life, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. We've heard that over and over, that from life, you get what you negotiate. But what we see most of the time, that we are not conscious of negotiation. We are not conscious of it. So we say that negotiation is a skill that can be learned. And in opening this ground, I just want like two people, we just want to create a scenario together to drive this home. What are we driving home? That life is one big negotiation. Because in negotiation, the first thing is possibility mindset. Negotiators have possibility mindset. Negotiators are shameless. They are shameless. They don't say, if I say this, hey, what will you say? They say it first. Negotiators don't burn bridges. You will see it as we continue. They don't burn bridges. They keep the relationship while they negotiate on the issue. Negotiator prepare for negotiation. So in negotiation, like Henry Ford said, if you say I can or I can't, they said you are right. That's what he has said, that you are right. Whether you say I can do it or I cannot do it, in either case, you are still right. Okay, so I just need one person. Can you, anybody on the floor, just give us a scenario together, like I put here, where something was a bit difficult and you were able to negotiate it, and what you did, and what was the outcome of that?
Oh God.
Can I see any hand up? If you want to say something, just raise up your hand. Like I said, it's going to be a bit much interactive actually, so that we can learn from one another. Can I see any hand? I can't see any hand. If you are raising up your hand, I can't see you. Can you just unmute and say something? Okay, Mercy, are you saying something? Do you want to go?
Hello?
Hello, yeah, Mercy, thank you.
Hello?
Hello, yeah, we can hear you, Mercy.
Yeah, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you now, Mercy.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, it's
Mercy, you muted yourself. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's a privilege to be here, and I'm actually very excited. My experience actually that I was, I fully participated in negotiation was basically in a commercial transaction, and I was acting on behalf of the bank as the in-house counsel, and it concerns a customer that we are giving a loan, and the security for the bank was a deed of all asset debenture. But apparently, before we disbursed the loan, we discovered that the assets that he had deposited with us for another transaction in one of the big commercial banks. And then when we realized that, we were like, from the onset, we discovered that we had made a mistake, basically, because we did a due diligence. All of the DD that we did not show that the customer has actually deposited all of those security documents with the bank. So at that point, we realized that we had already made a mistake. So on the negotiation table, although at a point we still had the upper hand because the loan has not been disbursed, But then we didn't want to let the customer go because of the business prospect we'd have from him.
Wow.
So what do? If we give out this loan and at the end of the day, the big commercial bank takes up the security, we'll be at a loss. So what we did was, we first of all, like you said, one thing we have to look out for is not burning bridges. So we didn't want to burn bridge, and we wanted to also be on the safe side. So we set out all the terms, and what I realized from it was that we had to ensure that the terms were very clear. There was clarity of terms, there was clarity of intentions, and then we also made sure that the consideration too was acceptable to both parties. So what we just accepted was, okay, fine, since the customer wants the money, we should go ahead to register the deed of all asset debenture. However, property should still reside with the big bank.
Okay.
Yeah. So at that point, although at the end of the negotiation, both parties were able to come to an agreement to say, okay, these are our terms, and we are both very okay with it, so we can proceed. I don't know if this is a very good scenario,
it is,
but what I realized,
yes.
okay, but what I realized from the negotiation table was that first of all, we had to set out all of the do's and don'ts.
Okay.
First, that was what we did. We had to reappreciate the story behind the whole loans and all, and then we also have to reconsider the future business prospects that we would get, from the customer, and what the customer will also get from the bank. And then I also realized that in the course of the negotiations was very clear. I mean, we had to restate everything again in a piece of paper, more like a settlement term, so that in the future, nobody comes back to, for clarity's sake, so in the future, nobody comes back to say, oh, I didn't understand that term. And also realize that at the end of the day, we had to put all of those terms that we had all agreed on the negotiation table down in form of a document contract, and then both parties executed it before the loan was even disbursed. I hope this helps.
Yeah, powerful. Thank you, Mercy. That's powerful. Those are part of the things that we'll be mentioning as we continue. I've noted some wonderful and important points for what you said. I'm sure that people in the house also must have been able to glean some important points, which we will raise as we continue. Do you have another person? Mercy, you can mute your side now. Do you have another person? I just want to give only 2 people before we proceed, because on the next slide also, we're still going to have someone speak. Do you have another person that wants to share his experience of negotiation briefly? Oh. Do you have someone? Yes. Okay. So as we await that, let's move to the next slide. So please, let's mute from your side. If you are not the one talking, let's just mute it, please. So we have the negotiation of King Solomon, and I want to start with this one so that we can bring it home. So as told in the book of Kings, we have a story there. We know the story of Solomon, that 2 women had given birth a few days apart, but one of the babies had died. The woman went to Solomon to have the matter resolved, because each claimed that the living child was hers. So King Solomon had to negotiate solution between 2 parties. Like I said, that in negotiation, at all times, we are 80% of what we do is negotiation. With our bosses, we are negotiating. With children, you see children crying to parents, they are negotiating your emotions. With time later, not today, we might be talking about principles of persuasion. You see people coming to persuade you. You see somebody telling you something like, I'm selling this thing. Pastor Shehu has bought it. Auntie Biodu has bought it. Jimmy has bought it. What are they trying to do? Is negotiation, like social proof. If this class of people can buy it, then you too should buy it. You know, or somebody do something for you, and say, what can we do? Say no. You know, in other words, the person is making you to be obliged. You know, so those are part of negotiation strategy from time to time. So in this case, now Solomon had to negotiate the solution between two women, and this is what he did. We don't know the story. One of them accepted the proposed decision for Solomon to split the child, the living child, into two. Split the dead child into two and give half to each. But the other pleaded for the child to be given to her, to a rival, just to let him live. And Solomon realized that the real woman was who the real woman was and gave her the baby. You know. So before I move into just talking and gaining a bit of speed, I still want us to, can we discuss this? Is there any lesson? And I want to leave it to Pastor Sheung first for this purpose. As in negotiation now, what can we glean from this scenario, what has happened here? So Pastor Sheung, can we hear you? What in negotiation, what can we see? What are the elements of negotiation that we can bring out here that is very important to us? Thank you.
Pastor Dan, I'm here to learn. No.
So that's exactly what we are doing. We are cleaning, we are learning from one another.
I don't know what the wisdom is, Pastor Dan. It is from you. I want to hear it from you.
Okay, so now we want to hear you. What on this floor now? This is Solomon. He has negotiated. What he has done is negotiation, and they call it wisdom. So negotiators are wise people. So what wisdom can we draw from here in negotiation?
Well, like I said, I'm more in a learning mode rather than, but I know one thing that is quite obvious in that entire transaction was Solomon testing a sense of ownership. Okay. Because the woman that eventually got the child was the one that depicted a stronger sense of ownership, rather let the baby live than the entire thing being destroyed, as it were. So I think parties coming to the negotiation table should come with a sense of a win-win attitude, rather than just being so self-centered. Okay. Be open-minded enough to let go, make compromises where it is necessary for the greater good. I think with these few words of mine, I've been able to convince you and not confuse you that I came to learn.
Thank you. That was powerful. We appreciate that. Olayinka, you also have something to say.
Okay. You know, we don't study law, we are always scared to talk in this kind of gathering.
No, this
but
is
I
not
will try
legal,
not to be off key.
This is commercial transaction.
From the story that has just been narrated here, I would say in every negotiation, we appeal to emotions.
Okay.
You appeal to emotion, and that was what King Solomon triggered. He knows that the emotion will speak even better than what that has been acclaimed. So in negotiation, you appeal to emotion.
That's powerful. So Pastor Shon said there was a sense of ownership, win-win, you know, and this one also appeal to emotions. Do we have any other person that wants to say something?
Hello, yes, this is Bemileke.
Okay.
Hello?
Can you mute?
Hello? Hello,
Can
can
you
you hear
mute
me?
your mic if you're not speaking at the moment, please? Thank you.
Bemileke.
According to the ancient scroll, the
Okay,
mountain
we
will
can hear
appear
you.
by open
Okay.
portal.
So my
Right?
comment,
And
the
the
comment I would
portal's
like to
supposed
add,
to be right
well, in addition to what everyone has said already, is
uh,
that the the owner of something is always passionate or interested in the continuation of
you
whatever
were
it
so clever, you open
is.
it.
When we are negotiating,
Sorry, Bemileke. Hold on, please. Mobola, please, can you hear us? Please, can you mute your microphone, please? Thank you. Go ahead, Bemileke.
hello,
Thank you.
okay. So I would say that sometimes during negotiation, it is important for us to identify maybe the person who the power really resides with, or who can make decisions. Now, when we find out, whoever owns something is always passionate about the continuation of that thing. Like the mother of the baby in this situation, even though the baby was not going to be hers, she wanted the baby to be alive. So when we're trying to identify uh, who can make decisions in negotiation, we may look to see which passion, whatever is being discussed, to identify such people.
Okay, Bemileke, thank you. So the main thing is to identify who can make the decision, who is the power broker, so that you won't be negotiating with someone that you have to renegotiate another side again. That's powerful. Thank you, Bemileke. So let's move with speed now. Okay, so we have a dilemma here. And this will speak to everything that we have been saying. It's called prisoner's dilemma. We can check it out later. This prisoner's dilemma is a standard example of a game theory. This one was proven. We have two people that were caught, arrested, and what they were told is that they kept them in different prisons, but the prosecutor does not have enough evidence, substantial evidence to prosecute both of them. So this is what the prosecutor did. He kept them apart so that he can elicit evidence, elicit words from each other so that they can convict them with it. So, but the main thing, let me read it out here. Say two members of a criminal gang are arrested and imprisoned. Each prisoner is in a solitary confinement with no means of communicating with the other. The prosecutors lack sufficient evidence to convict the peer on the principal charge, but they have enough both on the lesser charge. Simultaneously, the prosecutor offers each prisoner a bargain. Each prisoner is given the opportunity to betray the other by testifying that the other committed the crime, or to cooperate with the other by remaining silent. So this is what is happening here. The prosecutor is negotiating so that they can convict both of them. But one thing is key here: possible outcomes. If A and B each betray each other, betray the other, each of them serves 2 years in prison. I want us to note it. 2, if A betrays B, but B remains silent, A will be set free and B will serve 3 years in prison. If A remains silent, but B betrays A, then A will serve 3 years in prison and B will be set free. And this was what Pastor Chen was speaking to the other time. Now see it. If A and B both remain silent, both of them will serve only 1 year in prison on the lesser charge. So both of them are negotiators. But in this now, you will notice something. They don't know the interests of each other. They don't know what the other person wants. And in negotiation, that is very key. In fact, if you have not learned anything, you have to learn that in negotiation, aside what you are discussing, you have to learn other things that the person actually wants. You have to learn to enlarge the pie so that it can go round. Like you see some people, if they want to enter you, they just say, how is your baby? Even though you are talking another thing, but they know your passion concerning your baby. Say, how is your baby? How is your child? He's growing now. How old is he? Which school? Blah, blah. Like Alayinka said, appealing to your emotions. Because we know these things sometimes, but we are not very conscious of it. And when they use it on us too, it enters. You know, just like the word I love you, they say no matter how conscious you are about it, it is still the same word that will woo you over. You know, so, but it's always better as negotiators to get it right. If these two people have known that remaining silent for them will work better for them, both of them will have remained silent. So negotiation is mostly seen generally as we against them, or I against him. But like Mercy said, if we approach negotiation this way, we will be burning bridges, we'll be breaking relationships, we'll be destroying relations, we'll be fighting with people. Maybe somebody just say, I want to buy this thing, and the person say 50 million, and you know that that thing cannot be more than 50 naira. You just get angry. But if you're a student of negotiation, you know that it's just negotiating. So all you need to do is to bring your own also down and lower than the price that you are thinking, so that both of you can be on a playing ground with knowing what is the interest of the other person. That is a wrong approach to negotiation that is simply to be known as positional bargaining. In negotiation, when we say something is positional bargaining, in other words, you are rigid about your position. If you are selling this bottle now, and I say this bottle is 50 naira, and you brought it, and no matter what the other person says, it's 50 naira, there is nothing I can do about it. That's positional bargaining, and as we continue, we'll be able to see how we can bring someone out of positional bargaining into interest-based bargaining, and majorly into principle-based bargaining. So negotiation is, we are at it together. We are side by side, not against each other. At all times, we want to check out what are the interests of this person aside this product. What are the other things that I can use to negotiate with this person aside other things? What we said here, that the beauty of this knowledge is that the consciousness of negotiation will always give you an edge in life. When you are conscious at all times that what I'm doing now is negotiating and there's no other thing, and you know that 80% of what you do in life, whether you are talking to your mother, you are talking to your boss, you are talking to your colleague, you are talking to in any gathering, or you are in a party where a lot of people are, and you want to spread your card, you want to spread your contact, and you know that this I can do. I still believe that we should mute our, so that I don't have to be going to mute you, please. Thank you. So in negotiation, the main thing is the interest. It is not position. When we come to the negotiation table, we look at what is the interest, not what is in it for me alone, what is the interest of the other party. You never rush into negotiations. Always be careful what you give away. In negotiation, you will never rush into this is very, very important. Like somebody is talking to you now, say that I give you 30,000 naira. I give you 30,000 naira, you just say, oh, that's fine. So in negotiation, you can think, wow, that's fine, but let me come back to you. Or you still try to, because in negotiation you want to gain more, and you still try to see what else you can do. Please, can we Can we just mute our side? Can you hear me? Just raise up, just a show of hand. You know, as I try to mute some people, I see some other people coming on. So that you not be distracting me, just mute it from your side, please. Okay, you can hear me. Thank you. Thank you. So you don't rush into negotiation. We have an example of a lion who wants to marry a beautiful maiden. So the lion went to the house of the in-laws to be and said, I want to marry your daughter, blah, blah. And they said, fine, fantastic. This is what you can do for us. Okay, before you can marry our daughter, we want you to remove your teeth. Remove the sharp, those ones that you use to injure people. You know? And Lion was pleased and he went to remove it. And he came back. I have done exactly what you want me to do. Now, please give me your daughter. And the in-laws to be gave another condition. And Lion was not able to go on with the condition. So in negotiation, it is always good for us to know everything. Let us have everything on the table. And when the person comes up, like I went for a negotiation recently on land, and the person came in, we will get there, and the person came in with anger. I am not begging, I'm not here to beg, I'm not a beggar, blah, blah, you know. The person started getting angry. And as a negotiator, I know that itself is a strategy. Some people come to the negotiation table like very hasty. You just see them, they are very hasty. Let's quickly finish this thing, I want to go. Some people come to the negotiation table making you feel as if they are doing you a favor. Some people come to the negotiation table angry. Some people come to the negotiation table showing vulnerability. How do you deal with those kind of people? You know, so how do you create value? You know, but the first thing that I've said in negotiation is that every negotiation comes to the negotiation table with a possibility mindset. It is possible. So let's look this one. Position versus interest in negotiation. Can you see my slide? Can I see a show of hand if you can see my slide? Can you see my slide? A show of hand. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. So this is position versus interest in negotiation. Two chefs came together, they were to divide an orange. And two chefs came together, and this will drive it home. And I want us to listen to this part. I've made the slide to be short so that we can get it and we can have time to discuss. You know, these people came together and they said they want to divide. They gave them an orange. They said, we want to divide the orange. And their approach in dividing the orange is 50-50, win-win. So what is win-win here is 50-50 to them. And this is where most people miss it in negotiation. That it is when this thing is divided equal, that is 50-50. But I seek to submit that is not it. It is not when I increase your money as a staff working in my company, that is when I have been able to negotiate with you. No. It is not when I promote you sometimes that I've been able to negotiate your loyalty. No. Because when you promote and increase the person's fee, sometimes it's just salary, sorry, I said fee. Sometimes it's just a function of like 3 months or 6 months down the lane. The person is tired and the person is looking for another increment or promotion. So in negotiation, we have to take this scenario and look at it very well. Whether as the person that they are negotiating with or as the person that is negotiating with someone, so that at the end of the day, you make more money for yourself, You have relationships for yourself, and you don't burn bridges. We don't have to fight. Because like when I'll be rounding up, I will mention some basic things about how to know when to walk away. Walking away from negotiation does not mean that we are fought. No. If I approach a lady and I said, I like you, blah, this, I've done my negotiation, and at the end of the day, we do not agree to proceed, that does not mean that we are enemies. What I should always do as a negotiator is to preserve relationship and test all my persuasion skill, which we might not be able to do today. You know, like I said, the issue of negotiation, we can't teach it. Like I learned as a negotiator for 18 months. You know, I put it for 18 months, and at the end of the day, I was able to stay in that class for like 4 years. So we can't take it in a class, but at least we can have the basics and we can run with it. And like we said, that negotiation is a skill. As you continue to explore it, you get better in it every day. So this one person, two chefs, they gave them an orange. And they said, okay, the best way is that let us cut it into two. And they splitted the orange into equal half. But this is the scenario around it. One of them needed the peel, not the juice. The other person needed the juice. So both of them, they did not communicate to each other what is the interest, what do you want, or to try to know what the other party wants. So let me read what is here. It said, the better solution may seem obvious to us now. One needed the peas, one needed the juice, but they cut it equal, half equal. So the one that needed the peas was not enough for her, and the one that needed the juice was not enough for her. Both chefs would have been better off if they had peeled the orange and had taken parts that they needed. Instead, the chefs had focused on each other's what they needed and not on each other's interest, why they needed it. So even at all times, and I'm very passionate about it, we must always know, why does this person need it? Why does he need this? Why? You know, we must focus on the interest, the ability to communicate our interest, the why. We must focus always on interest. Why does he need this thing? The ability to communicate our interest is at the heart of positive negotiation, creative problem solving, which is a kind of negotiation, not equal half, not at all times like we talk about the prison, not just like we talk about the prison own. If both of them have kept silent, if both of them have been quiet, something will have happened. Both of them will have earned 1 year imprisonment. So in negotiation, it's not about position. When we sit down on negotiation, is there a baby that is our interest? I might be negotiating this water and I'll be talking about our baby. Is there a work that is our interest? Is there something else that I can bring in? Is there a door that I can sell for that person that I can use to augment the money here? Is there another transaction that I can use this one to negotiate? And that does not mean that I quickly give away this one because I'm not sure. Because the other person also can start playing me as if he wants to give me the other one and he will never give me. Like we have some people who knows how to dangle carrots in front of you like this. They will dangle the carrot, the gap between your mouth and the carrot will never reduce. It will be so close to you, but it will never reduce. Always dangling the carrots in front of you. You know? So I go to the next slide. 3 negotiation mistakes. 3 major mistakes. But before I say that one, what I'm saying simply is that on negotiation table, we have to know how to enlarge the pie, go beyond what we are discussing. Like, let's take for example that I want to rent a house and I'm negotiating renting a house. That is all with an agent. And as a lawyer, and I'm also discussing that, do you know that this is what I've done before? Do you know that you can also do this? You can also do this in your business. You can also do this. And as we're bringing all those things in, I was negotiating this. And the person was able to reduce money for us. Why? Because I brought in extra value, not just on what we're negotiating, but on other things. I have someone that brought me into a house I'm staying now, that I now do legal work for the person, and I now collect money. So from the negotiation, I've been able to get more from it. You know, and we are very good friends now and good neighbors. Why? Because we have taken our negotiation beyond the product at hand. We have taken it further. Nothing is at the last price. Nothing. You know, nothing is at the last price. You can always negotiate. You know, somebody was telling me something recently. They said, okay, there's a modem that is being used. I may not mention the name, a network. And they said that there are days that they give promo. And somebody called them and said, please, I know that you didn't publish your promo today, but can you give me promo? I need it. And he gave the person promo. That is negotiation. A negotiator takes the lead. Is always aware with my children, that's different that we see in the part of the world that we have and in some other part of the world. And we say that the only time that we can talk with children is with caning them or beating them. But if we are negotiators, a negotiator sees the bigger picture. So you can negotiate them with other things aside beating them. So three common negotiation mistakes. Number one, they both assumed they wanted the same thing, and they don't want the same thing. One wanted the juice, and one wanted the pills. They both took up positions. It was the art. I'm not going to discuss. It's going to be art. You know, and this is what happens sometimes, you know, and that is what I work on it in meeting people in networking. In networking, you don't see that flexibility. You feel that they should come to you. They should be the first person to talk to you. Or what if he ignores me? What if he snores? If he's a snore? But a negotiator negotiates. You look at what is the interest? What if I say that you are looking good? What if I say that I like your shoe? What if I say that I like your shirt? As a negotiator is always looking for an entry point. You know, a negotiator looks at interest-based negotiation. Okay, this kind of person is a very busy person. How can I gain entrance and be able to talk to the person? I was discussing with somebody, excuse me. I said, before we go to conferences and we spread our cards and we do everything, but now it's now becoming very difficult to do that. Why? Because we now do everything online. So how do we now meet one another? I'm saying that even on webinar like this, negotiating personality that we think that we know their name can still go on and chat them up. Number three, they didn't ask questions. Let me run this. So for negotiation first, we have just like 4 more slides. So let us just take it before we go to our questions. Creativity. The first requirement of a negotiation is creativity. There's something we call BATNA in negotiation. Because we said that don't rush into negotiation, and I want all of us to write it down. BATNA. B-A-T-N-A. BATNA. And the meaning of BATNA is best alternative to negotiated agreement. best alternative negotiated agreement. So what is the alternative to this? If I'm not going to concede to this, what alternative do I have? Okay, because I don't have an alternative, what other alternatives can I bring to the other person that can convince the other person? Okay, if I don't have, then I know that I have to buy. I have to just pay for another purpose. Okay, so what can I take advantage of from this person too? Or is it as if we are trying, are we manipulators? No, negotiators are not manipulators, but they are interest driven. So know your partner, best alternative to negotiated agreement. So when you are approaching a negotiation table, you must write, what are my alternatives? What are my alternatives? What are my interests? 1, 2, 3, 4. You must note them so that when you go into a negotiation table, you are not panicking. You can spread options. You can bring out options. It's always good to ask yourself why you want what you want. This will help you get a better understanding of your real goals and to open better deals, so that we definitely know that whether I actually need it or I don't need it. Then if I don't need it, I can drop it. So in negotiation, you face problems, not persons. In relationships, so that we don't destroy relationships. We face the problem, we try out. This is where we're still going to talk about in our questions, and I expect someone to ask questions in this area so that I don't flog it here. You face the problem, not the person. We separate persons from problems. I'm telling you, when you are conscious of negotiation, you will have more friends. And when you have more friends, you have more money. Because someone said that your network is your net worth. When you are a good negotiator, even when people are angry, you don't feel bad. Even when you are out within, you reach out, because negotiators take the lead at all times. So we fight the problem, not the person. Negotiation happens on 2 levels. Factual arguments, human perceptions and emotions. So you have to know what are the facts. You have to know your facts very well. Then what are the human perceptions? What are the other emotions that I can bring in? See, I've heard people say that, please, let's take emotions out of this talk. Excuse me, relax. No negotiator is oblivious of emotions. I can get to a negotiation table and be angry now. And just be angry and just create an anger like theatrics. Just like when you are in court sometimes, you just say, my lord, I do not agree, blah, blah. And you know deep down within you that it is just negotiation, that you are not angry. And sometimes you see your client say, yes, yes, my lawyer is angry, yes. My lawyer is giving it to the person. And at the end of the day, you come out and you just greet the other lawyer, your client is angry. Your client is angry as if you are compromised. Because how can you greet him? He's our enemy. We are not supposed to be greeting our enemy. People leave relationships and they don't talk again. Say, no. That's the end. But even from politicians, we can see these days that they are focused on interest and they leave problems. The only challenge with them is that they damage personalities with their own. They damage the personality. Another time when they are now changing interest, when they are now turning around to change their interest, people bring out their videos of how they have damaged the image of the other person. But a good negotiator does not damage image. He is very careful about damaging the image of the person, except in few instances when you think that you have to hit the reputation of that person to get the best. Very few instances. When negotiating, think of the other person as a partner and not an adversary. I hope you are flowing with me. If you are flowing with me, can I see a show? Can I see show of hands? As we are rounding off now, can I see show of hands if you are still getting what I'm saying. Thank you. Thank you. I can see show of hands here. Thank you. I still need show of hands if you are flowing, if you are getting what we are saying. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you. So I can go on now. Thank you. Thank you. I can still see more show of hands. Thank you. You know. So in fighting the problem in negotiation, we have to ask questions. What is their goal? What do I want to achieve? How much do I want to pay? How much will be my, I can't go beyond this, no matter the sweet talk. You see, why many ladies are even confused is that they don't know who they want to marry. So any talk, and they say that guy is a sweet talker, that's why he swept me. We show that you are not a negotiator. If you're a negotiator, no, any guy cannot sweep you because you know your goal. Where do you agree? Where do we agree? As you can see from my slide, you can see as in they were discussing, where do we agree? Wisdom is the ability to know differences. Number one thing in negotiating, who am I speaking to? If you know the person, am I speaking to a literate person? Am I speaking to an illiterate? What is the interest of this literate person? What is the interest of an illiterate? Am I speaking to a marketer? Speaking to a marketer is different from speaking to a career person that does not even have time to go out. Am I speaking to a single or am I speaking to a married? Am I speaking to a man or am I speaking to a woman? Not because we are not gender-based, sensitive, but we are negotiators. So a negotiator knows the difference at all times. And like Leke said, who is the person that is the power broker and who has influence on the person? Who can reach out to the person? Who can I talk to that can talk to the person? That's a negotiator. Like I was talking about social proof the other time. Like I bring a product and I said, okay, I have a product here. Okay, let's say Pastor Shehu is here. So let's just use an example and say that Pastor Shehu wants to invite people for ministration. And they said that I want to invite now let's talk. Maybe I want to invite Baba Deboye. And I get Baba Deboye and say, Bishop Edepo is coming, Reverend Francis Wale is coming, and all these big people are coming, John C. Maxwell is coming, started mentioning big names. Then the man can say, okay, now I can know what you believe with those people. You are showing your social proof. Maybe a marketer goes, this product you are selling, a celebrity has bought, this has bought, this has bought, this has bought. So there's something ego. A negotiator knows how to attack and take advantage of you. There's something egoistic in somebody just say that if these people can be in that estate, that's the kind of estate I want to be. If Nkakidele can be in Amen estate, if this person can be there, then that kind of estate. You have forgotten that you have not checked, you have not prepared very well. The Amen estate is far beyond that. It's in Sangotedo. But because of the social proof, that is the class I want to belong to. Just enter into it. Because you have to check it vis-a-vis your own place of work, your own place and everything, and check your interest. What are the main differences? Where do those differences come from? So let's run now. So in interest, before you search for solution, understand both parties' underlying interest. The third one, objective criteria. Always find objective criteria to base your decision on. How much are they selling properties in that area? Before somebody will sweet talk me. What is the water? Water is disturbing them. What about their family? How much? Okay, this person is my very good friend. I've been buying for him for long. But can I test another person to even have an objective criteria? Even though we are emotional friends, but can I check Another, I mean, all of us will become victim of this. You know, when people who take advantage of us most of the time is people that we are very close to. So we don't check objective criteria. Options, when negotiating, outline options before you search for solutions. What are the options that are available to me? If I don't buy this, can I buy this? I don't want to be mentioning products here. If I don't buy this, will this also satisfy what I want to do or what I can do? You know, if this person does not give it to me, can this person give it to me? You know, and I think that it's good for us to stop a bit at this point because I think that we must have gotten some things. So I want to ask a question now, you know. And from what we have learned, you know, and from contributions, before I go to the next slide, I want to, okay, I can see Mobala, I can see some a lot of people. Thank you for joining the platform. You know, how do I negotiate with someone who comes to the negotiation table like the one I experienced yesterday? No, the day before yesterday in the morning. We just entered the conference room, demanding greeters very well. We were just angry and just say, I'm not a beggar. I just sold one yesterday. I just sold this yesterday. You know something? I can walk away. I'm not begging. I'm actually doing you a favor. You know. So how do you handle someone that is egoistic like that and angry? Please, I need show of hands. Let's begin to round it off here because we can't use the whole day to learn this. You know. Okay, Mobola, thank you. Thank you. You can mute and speak, Mobola. I thought I saw your hand, Mobola. Okay, I need us to talk here, please. I need us to talk. So how do I deal with, we have a lot of people on this platform, and thank you for your patience, and we are rounding off. So I need us to exchange ideas now, you know. So I saw one Esther, we cannot contribute, please. So how do I come to a negotiation table with a very angry person, egoistic person. How do you think it's best for me to, let us just, you don't, no one knows it all. Let us just, you know, just say something. Let us exchange ideas, you know. I await your hand. I will call your name if you are not raising up your hand. Tolu Odupe, let me call you to start. Tolu Odupe. Okay, I can see Esther Atolani, thank you. So Esther, please, you can speak. We are listening. Esther, you need to unmute yourself.
Oh, sorry, I didn't to raise my hand, but was the question, how do you deal with who? Can you repeat the question, please?
Okay, the question is, how do you deal with someone who comes to the negotiation table or who is negotiating with you and is very angry, a very angry person or egoistic person? What are the points that you think we can take home? You know, maybe 1, 2, you know, I'll be noting them and we'll discuss it generally as we round up.
Okay, I think the first thing is always to have the ability to remain calm.
Okay, remaining calm. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, because things can explode if both parties are angry. So it's important that one person, you know, the other party remains calm.
So you gain control over your own emotions.
Yes.
You know? Okay.
And the second thing is also to make sure you have as much information as possible. And the reason is because when someone is egoistic, right, they always feel they know better than the other person. So make sure you equip yourself with as much information, knowledge as possible before coming to the negotiation table. And I feel that if you feel like you don't have enough information to continue, you can reschedule. I mean,
That's
practically speaking.
That's true.
So
That's true.
yeah,
That's true.
thanks.
Yeah, good. That's powerful. That's powerful. I'm sure that a lot of people have learned a lot from that also. Okay.
Okay, let me make a quick comment. Tolu Dupe speaking.
Yeah,
First things, I think this session is quite brilliant. I think you have been able to take us through the journey of negotiation 101. I essentially have. I understand that listening is also a quite a strong tool, in negotiation. And just as everyone else has been listening, I just want to listen in and learn a few tips, But let me just make a quick comment before I respond to your question. The first thing is, I think we need to get out of that cultural sort of where we already belong, thinking that, okay, we can negotiate every deal, right? I'm one of those who are very keen about professionalism. I mean, we're in an environment where many people think that they want to do certain things on their own, and then, I mean, people do self-medication, people get into agreements without consulting a lawyer, people get into a lot of things and then just think, oh, I can get through this, right? I understand this session is law for non-lawyers, right? However, it's important that if you do not have the right tools, whenever you get into a negotiation, either on the table or whether online or offline, it's important that you are properly armed, for this negotiation you want to get into. Right. Having said that, I like the example you gave earlier about King Solomon, where I believe that he was actually listening to what the other woman wasn't saying, if you get what I mean. So and that's what speaks to active listening, right? And it's one of the core communication skills that you bring to the table anytime you want to negotiate, whatever it is. Right. I think for those who storm into negotiation table, angrily, they are not in control of their emotions and what have you, I think they are not thinking long term. If you are thinking long term, you would understand that I might be adversarial to you today. Tomorrow, we might just need to be collaborative on a project or a service. So you don't come to it, and that's why for those who are non-lawyers need to understand that the traditional setting where you have lawyers come into either a courtroom session or a negotiation table and they're all thinking adversarial is no longer the case. I've been in commercial practice for about 12 years, and I can tell you for free that a lot of things have changed, in terms of how people approach these things. I mean, I think it was Pastor Shane that mentioned earlier, win-win situation, right? And he also alluded to it that it's important that when you want to get into a negotiation, you need to understand that I am not here because I want the other person to lose. Because even if you get what you want right now, right, in the long term, for whatever is what, you might need that person for something else. So it's important that you get into that table knowing that whatever works for you, I'm protecting my interests as much as I'm looking at the greater good for the other person on the negotiation table. And this speaks to institutions as well. I like the example that I think it was Mercy gave earlier, where she mentioned that where she needed to negotiate for a client, and then they had to set everything and reduce it into writing. In my opinion, I think as young people or as professionals, whether you're sitting in negotiation table yourself, or you have a representation through a legal practitioner or an expert on the field, it's important that you know that there are things you do not know or you may not know how to approach, such that, for instance, if I'm in her shoes, what I would have done is to insist that we create a trust relationship where all the assets of the company or the person that is trying to get that facility will be warehoused into one. And so that if you want to take facility from 1,000 banks, assuming you want to do that, everything can be negotiated through one single independent neutral party who is going to be a trustee, right? So because in commercial transaction, in that instance, I can take 2-3 facilities using similar or a group of similar assets. And then what you can now do is a trustee will hold that collateral or that security and, is warehoused. And then every time you want to get a new or an additional facility, I make reference and say, see the trustee who is in charge. Most times the trustee is a lawyer or someone that has some accounting background and all of that. And then you can bring out all of these things together. So I hope I've answered your questions. Speaking to the person that wants to rush out and say, "Oh, I'm hungry, I want to get this." I think they also need to bring in what is called problem-solving skills. You look at the problem rather than look at try to address or fight people, across the table in the negotiation. Thank you.
Thank you, Tolu. I really appreciate it. Do you have any other person that wants to speak to this? I've gotten some points very powerful. Remain calm, like Esther said. As much information as possible, and that's what Tolu also spoke to. That at least you don't have all, so you can engage professionals to also be part of it. She said something very fundamental. She said you can reschedule. You can reschedule if the person feels I'm in haste, I have to go now. You can reschedule. And Tolu also said active listening. Somebody is talking and you just listen and try to hear what the person is not saying. That's very powerful. And then I think one person to say something. Mobola, you are there. Please say something. I want to hear you, please. Mobola. Mobola. Okay, yeah, Liu. Kemi and Liu, please, do you have something to say? Please add something to us, please. Babuki, you are here. Sibe, you are raising up your hand. Then you can talk. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Okay, what I want to add is that, I think in my own opinion, in negotiating, the power of value is very, very important. When you are negotiating whether the price of a product or negotiating your payment, your remuneration. When you are negotiating, when you bring value of the products to the table, I think it gives you a better ground to negotiate. Like, okay, this product goes for 5,000 and the other party is pricing it to 2,000. I think without arguing, what can be a benefit for you is bringing the product, what the product will do for you, the value of the product to the table. And I remember when I was going to negotiate my increment in the office, after working for a certain period of time, everybody was talking about increments and so many of them were being turned down. But I gave myself a target that, okay, for the next 3 months, I'm going to work like no man's business. Wow. I'm going to let my value to be known. I'm going to present myself so valuable to the company. So when I'm negotiating and I'm like, no, this is what I want. If you're not giving it, I'm letting out. You will not, you can't but to agree with me because I've already shown you what I can value, what I can bring to the table.
You brought value to the table.
Yes, sir. And you don't want to lose me. And I realized that when I use that approach, the next question my MD asked me was, what do you want?
Wow.
And I won on that table of negotiation that day.
That's powerful. Thank you, Tofumi, for sharing that with us. She said she brought value, and that's very key. Do you have another person? I have my boss here. Boda is here. Boda must talk today. So coupled with that too, I want to ask, how do we negotiate networking? This one is very important. I will still just summarize everything. How do we negotiate networking? How do we network? These days sometimes you don't even know how to meet, and you know that you need to network. So how do we network? Adepeju, are you raising up your hand? If you are, please, you can go ahead and talk. Hello, Adepeju?
No, I wasn't, sir. It was when you asked us to show and we are still following.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
So Mr. Jiboye, let's just hear your voice. Just greet us now.
Okay, in the chat room, we have Buki Igavini, who says, I think the use of empathy will bring the anger down while you lay out your point. So I think she's just buttressing the fact about empathy.
It's a he.
Okay, he.
Okay. So, okay, that's powerful. Empathy. I think to just calm the person, you know, that's cool. Okay, so let's rush it now. But I really want us to talk about networking. How do you negotiate a network? You know, I'm in the midst of everybody here. Maybe I just get to a party and I need to talk to people. So how do I network my way into people? But before I go into that, let me quickly round up the presentation. In fighting the problem, okay, on this with an angry person, I wrote here that don't ignore the angry person. Don't ignore him. Ask yourself if the anger is justified. Sometimes anger is perfectly reasonable, and it's always emotionally wise to consider the feelings of others during an interaction. And like Esther says, stay calm, at least on the outside. You might not be calm on the inside, but at least manage your countenance. Just stay calm and avoid character assault. And that is very good for a negotiator, not to go into the personality of the person. You know, I know you're a very angry person. I know, you know, those are not just in extreme cases. And know when to disengage. You know, there's a language here, stay safe. Just make sure that you are safe so that they don't throw tantrums on you. Other things that they have said are as much information as possible, bring on board value, you know, and with an angry person, you can reschedule. You know, another one, if you are talking to a hard person, somebody that is proving very hard, you know, you start with a new attitude. Without yielding your ground, view a stubborn person as an opportunity to become a better version of yourself. Take a pause. Resist the urge to engage in an argument with an hard. What a hard person wanted is an argument. I know that when I go maybe on the evangelism feed, I go to preach. You just see some people say, "Oh, what is Jesus are you talking about?" As in, he just wants you to just get into an argument. And what do? I take myself away from the argument. I enlarge the pie so that it can go round. You know, I start talking about another things. When I talk about Nigeria, you see the person wants to go into politics again. I try to change the course so that you don't take me off what I want. Another side of dealing with this kind of people, angry, hard, is having been to or three on the negotiation table. We have the area of good cop, bad cop, where somebody is playing the good person and the other person is playing as if he's also angry, you know, and the other person is calming the other person down. Like, please just calm down, just calm down, just calm down. Please mute your side. Okay, I've been able to do that from here. You know, so the person is angry. You know, get them to listen to what you have to say at the right time. Go slow. If somebody is hard and angry, you go slow so that you can bring the temper down. You know, just go slow. Break into segments. Break the issue into segments. Think about their own point of view. I'm seeing hands raised. I don't know whether they are new hands or not. Okay, let me go. So the last thing is when you are negotiating with somebody. Tell me, are you raising up your hand?
Yes, Sister Biodun would like to give her own contribution.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
So, Sibe, please go ahead.
Hello, ma. Please, she stepped out. She stepped out a minute ago.
Okay, so when
Yes.
she comes back, before we run out. So when you are negotiating with someone in haste, this one is in haste. When you are negotiating this, use polite words. Have you seen some people that anytime you want to negotiate with them, they're always rushing? What are they rushing to? They are always, even ladies can do it to a guy. Anytime guy, you don't want to hear the guy, you're always in haste. Please be fast, I have something to do. Please be fast, I have something to do. You go to meet, there was a guy I went to meet at Moweba for one time, wanted to discuss about land. Anytime we go there like this, the guy is always in haste. Later, I got his style. So when he's in his haste, I will just behave as if I don't mind renegotiate, shifting another time. I'll just calm down, but I will continue to say what I'm saying. Never rush, never in a rush with the fellow. Request for time convenience when he can talk. Bring up facts before that could assist him to close now. You have to bring up facts that will assist him to close now. Okay, I know you're in haste, but that was what we were able to do for that guy, and we were able to get him down. We have talked about a proud negotiator. Some negotiators are very egoistic because of the position that they have. So you tactically show you are busy with a proud negotiator. You also have to show that you're a very busy person without fronting it in the eye. But you have to let him know that he's in charge. Show confidence, but make him feel, just a feeling, like we're talking about emotion, just make him feel that as if he's in charge, even though you know that he's not in charge. Don't let him think he's the only one. He's a very proud person, but don't let him think he's the only one. You also give concession. See, there's something about giving concession. I have to mention that one before we round up. Somebody can give you 4 concessions in negotiation without giving you much. And if care is not taken, you will give 1 concession and you are giving so much. There's a way we can be on the negotiation table. I will be giving you concession like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you say, and I will tell you, I have shifted grounds 5 times, but you have not shifted. And that your 1 shift can be more than my 5 times. There's a way when people want to negotiate you to talk, maybe they want to hear about your personal life or something. They can say so many things without giving you any secrets. And you say, this person that has said so much to me. This person has said so much to me. Wow. At least I should also tell the person. And it might be that one thing you say that is all that you have. So in yielding grounds, as you give consent in negotiation, you have to be careful. You have to yield ground practically, show that you have a life outside the negotiation. It's not a do or die affair. You have a mastery of it, and you have life outside the negotiation. If the person does not yield, that does not mean that that is the end of it, and that does not mean that the relationship has ended. So in rounding up, I want to ask the question that I asked before. How can I negotiate relationships, network? How? Or what have you tried in the past that has worked?